Good evening, everyone. My name is Susan Arena Guerrero, and I am very happy today to have Keanna Murphy Cullens with me. For the next 30 minutes, you'll be hearing about Beacon and what we do, and particularly Keanna's story, as well as the CHIPRA program. A little bit about Beacon. Beacon was founded in 1968 by a group of parents trying to find better services for their children. Fast forward to today, we're a multi-service organization that offers a myriad of programs. I am going to put overhead information on where we're located. That's our website, www.beacon-therapeutic.org. We have 4 different locations. Our administrative offices are located at 1912 West 103rd. Our homeless outreach services are located at 117th and Western. Our Cal Park location houses our junior high and high school. And our Longwood campus has our elementary school along with some of our outpatient programs. Here's a listing of some of the programs that Beacon offers. We have our therapeutic day schools that works with kids ages K through 12 that are essentially can't have their educational needs met within their home school, so that they send them to us and we provide a full curriculum of educational programming. Our shelter outreach services provides mobile mental health services to homeless women and children throughout the city of Chicago. Our CHIPRA program that we'll be talking more about today, so I'm not going to tell you what it's about. Our Early Head Start program, where we're working with children ages from birth to 3 years old, focusing on their development and fostering solid parent-child attachment. Our Family Assertive Community Treatment program, which is working with young moms ages 18 to 25 who have one child under the age of 5. Our Family Homes Project, which is working with highly vulnerable homeless families. Our PATH program that works with highly vulnerable families with serious mental illness. Our Little Intensive Outpatient program and our regular intensive outpatient program is an alternative to inpatient hospitalization for young children and latency age kids. And we also offer a traditional outpatient mental health program. All of our programs, what we'd like to consider ourselves as doing is really providing new endings from disadvantaged beginnings, and that is kind of our new moniker, as it were, where we're creating new endings to disadvantaged beginnings. And as such, today we're going to be talking about Keanna, who I'm very proud to have with us today. Keanna is truly a success story. A year ago, for those of you that have been watching, hopefully you saw the episode where Keanna read quite a moving commencement speech. And so Keanna is a former participant of Beacon Services, and today is one of our staff members. And so I'm really happy to have you here, Keanna. Thank you. You're crazy busy. So welcome. I know you're a peer advocate for the CHIPRA program. So welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, in 2008, I became a client and a participant of the FACT program. And up until last year, I graduated and I worked closely with the FACT team. And they helped me find housing, and they taught me some really, really good things. And they're actually one of the teams and one of the reasons that I am actually where I am today.
That's a powerful story, and I think, when we all do this work, we'd like to think that we're making a real impact in folks, and I think when we look at where you've been and where you are today is remarkable, and we were talking a little bit earlier, in terms of, a year ago, so much happened to you. You graduated, you got your apartment, you got married,
Yeah.
and then what have you done in the years since?
Well, as you said, I've become a peer advocate for a Beacon Therapeutics CHIPRA team. I've also taken up some new classes to be a professional tax preparer. So it's been really busy, and of course being a mom to my 3 children. So that's a full-time job in itself. So I've been really busy, but I've been trying to continue progressing and continue to try to make a better life for myself and my family.
Well, and that's what's key. And I know your kids are wonderful. They're in what grades? And they're watching, apparently.
Yes.
So you want to give them a shout out?
Hi, babies.
We saw
Hi,
that.
husband. Yeah,
That's right.
my
That's right.
husband.
Say hello to their husband too. So what grades are your children in?
They're in first, second, and kindergarten.
And they're doing well academically. We
Yes.
talked a little bit about that, which is great. Now, I'd like to remind everyone this is a live call-in show, so if you have any questions or comments, we'll talk a little bit about the program, but if you have any questions or comments to Keanna, please feel free to call. The number is 312-738-1060. So today we'd like to talk about CHIPRA, but clearly the most important feature is your transformation and, what you've done to get where you are today. And I'm glad that the FACT team helped you, but clearly the FACT team can only tap into resources that you already had within yourself. And so, what advice could you give to somebody out there that's struggling maybe, and do you have some success tips that you've found for yourself that maybe you'd like to share?
I would say what has helped me was to basically to stay grounded. Like I said before, it's hard, and sometimes I know that you want to give up, but you can't. You have to keep that strive and that determination, and you have to always realize that there's an ending to the strive and the heartache and the pain. Everyone goes through it at some point in time in life, but you have to be strong enough to endure it and to get through it so that you're able to achieve your goals.
That's powerful, because I keep on thinking that what they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I think the sense of optimism that you can overcome it, and you in particular have overcome a lot and where you are today. And so you are a peer advocate. So you're a peer advocate within the CHIPRA program, and I'm going to put some information on the CHIPRA program that might provide a little information on it. So the CHIPRA program is an outreach program. It's funded through a federal grant, and it targets in-need children, families, and adolescents in the Chicago area who don't have health coverage. And this is the contact information. So Marge is the coordinator for the program, and that's your number, 773-233-3821. So can you describe a little bit, what does the CHIPRA team do?
Well, as you said, it's a federally funded program, and what we do is we conduct community outreach in different communities with low-income families, and we try to help educate them about the qualifications and the eligibilities for the All Kids program.
And
So we try to get them insured if they're not, and we also try to educate them at the same time.
So and I'm going to put a picture of the two, your other team members, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's Marge and there's Brittany, and you're considered the peer advocate. So what does the peer advocate actually do?
Well, as a peer advocate, I help in the advocacy and the conducting of the outreach. And I believe, me as a peer advocate, the most important thing for me is being able to appeal to the population and being able to identify with the people that we're working with, because I've been in their situation and I know what they're going through. And I think, like I said, that's the most important thing to me about being a peer advocate, is really being able to relate to them and understand what they're going through.
And I think, one of the features with this grant has really been, what are the most effective ways of engaging folks that are generally difficult to engage,
Right.
whether it's because of fear or because of too many barriers. So when we developed the program, it was really in mind with developing this role of a peer advocate, somebody who's been there, experienced it, knows the challenges, knows the frustrations, and clearly that's the role that you play, because you've been there, you've
Right.
experienced a lot of these things. And so what's some of the eligibility criteria for the All Kids program?
Well, with the All Kids program, the All Kids program is targeted to insure children under 18 and younger, children who live in Illinois, and also meet the insurance requirements for the program itself.
So any child in Illinois is able to access this coverage. Is there an income requirement for the All Kids?
Up until July of 2011, there wasn't an income level, but now there is an income level. So basically what they consider is families up to a 300 percentile for the poverty level. So like a family of four, the income guideline would be about 66,000. So there wasn't at first, but there is an income guideline now.
And then eligibility, I understand, is annually, right? Annually, you're for a 12-month period,
Yes.
you're eligible. And then how do you get do you re-enroll again, or how does that work?
Well, it's called a renewal process where, well, we also assist the clients in that we call them to make sure that they're aware of their renewal dates so that they can stay on top of the entire process and keep themselves covered so that their sales or the children aren't dropped. And as long as they continue to meet the age and the residency requirements along with the insurance requirements as far as the income guidelines, then they'll continue to have their coverage.
So I know the CHIPRA program is particularly targeting, homeless families or vulnerable families as well as youth. And I think when you're talking about youth, there's a whole other challenge associated with youth. So what are the requirements for youth, like youth living on the streets? Can they access this service, the CHIPRA program?
Yes.
Or all kids?
Kids that aren't living at home, homeless teens, are also able to access the program. Is like I said, as long as they meet the age requirements, as long as they're 18 and younger, then they can also access this. It's there for them too.
Do they need to get their parents' consent though, or their parents' income? Or?
Well, if the teen is living outside of the household, then we consider them as
emancipated.
Yeah, as emancipated. So we wouldn't necessarily need the parents' signature.
And so once they're able to access this health care, the insurance, the goal is for them to get connected with a medical home and to start doing all the wellness. So, and the ideal, this is helping them make sure that they're getting all their health taken care of, all their basic stuff taken care of so that things don't get worse.
Right.
Now, are parents eligible for this? Is there a parent piece to this?
Well, there's actually a program called the Illinois Family Care, and this particular program is designed to cover the parents living with these children under the age of 18 while they're covered under the All Kids program. So there is actually a program that offers health insurance coverage to the parents also.
Now, is that an income based as well? Or?
Yes, that's also income based. As long as the family meets a certain income guideline, then the parent is eligible for the Illinois Family Care.
Okay, I understand we have a caller. Your question?
Yes, hi. If you were a teenager and you did need insurance, and once that you enrolled in the insurance, but you needed other services that Beacon offers, how would you go about doing that?
Oh, that's an excellent question, because I think one of the beauties of this program is that this program sits within this full array of services that we talked about earlier. So to answer this question, is there collaboration, Keanna, with other programs at Beacon?
Yeah, well, it's the CHIPRA program, which is the program that I represent, and then there's, like you said, there's other programs within the Beacon Therapeutic that can offer other services like the homeless services, and Beacon even has a school. So it's a lot of different services that they offer. It's not just the medical aspect of it. They're there to help these teens.
So one of the things that I know that's done is that is doing an assessment of needs. Clearly, accessing healthcare is just one piece of what we'd like to offer the folks that we come in contact with. But clearly there is an assessment if there's mental illness or if there's regular case management needs. Individuals that we work with in CHIPRA can access all those other programs as well, whether it's this day school or mental health services or our PATH services or our intensive outpatient programs. So that's the referral that goes into all those other programs then, I would take it. Yeah. What would you say are some of the biggest challenges in doing the work that you do?
Well, when I first starting, my greatest concern was the fact that I wouldn't be able to reach these populations and reach the certain demographic. I thought that that it would be kind of hard for people to kind of open up, because I know being in this type of situation before, it was hard for me to open up, and it was hard for me to admit that I needed help, and it was hard for me to access resources that I knew about, and it was hard for me to ask questions about resources that I was unaware about.
Sure.
So my main concern starting off was not the concern that I had, and the fact that I wanted to help these people, that they would,
and how you can connect with them, it sounds like, because and that's what's tough. And in terms of you're bringing a unique set of skills, but also how it sounds like you were concerned about how are you able to work with them and tell them this, trust me, I can
Right.
do. So has it worked? I mean, do you feel you've been effective in what you've been doing?
I feel I've been very effective in my role as peer advocate. Like I said, me being in this situation, it's really helped me to actually identify with these people, and just holding conversations and talking to people, and being able to relate to them, or being able to say, I understand, or I know what you're going through, or I've been through that. It makes the person more comfortable because they're not in such a standoff state now, because it's like, okay, she knows what I've been through. She can relate to me. So me being in these type of programs, and me knowing what these services are about and what they offer, it's really helped me in my job as a peer advocate to communicate and relate to the people that we work with.
One of the things that I know that the team does is we like to talk that we bring the office to the participant. So normally folks, to access a service, they would have to go to an office and register and complete all the things, but the team actually goes to the family. So you mentioned community outreach. What are some of the places that you've been at where you're trying to talk to people?
Well, I've done a lot of things. Like I've been to schools, I've been to medical offices, I've been to hospitals, I've done food pantries, shelter outreach, where I go out into the shelters and I drop off our information, and I explain the program and what it is that we do. And I also work closely with the aldermen's offices to make sure that our information and the resources that we have and the services we offer are distributed throughout different communities. So it's...
So then folks then call, and I'm going to put that information on here. So individuals then, so once they call, what happens next? So here's the number, it's 773-233-3821. And so if they call, what can they expect?
Well, if they call, what they can, like you said, one of the things that I think is really unique about the CHIPRA program is that we bring the office to them. So by doing that, it provides a more comfortable atmosphere for that person, and it's really convenient. And I think a lot of people are susceptible to the fact that we can do this in your home. We can meet you at a library. We can meet you at a McDonald's. Whatever comfortable for you, then that's what we're here for. We want to make the process go as smoothly as possible.
And what do they need? Do they need birth certificates, or what is it that they need? What documentation or information do they need to be able to fill out the forms? Or
it would be the same documentation required as if they were going into the aid office to apply for it. It would be birth certificates, social security cards, state IDs or driver's license. It's the basic information that you would need to apply if you were going into an aid office.
Okay. And now this brings up the question of immigration status and a documented status or not. So Illinois is one of the few states that allows any child to be covered regardless of documentation status, right? So so that means the kids are covered as long as they meet the age requirement.
Right.
How about the parents if they're undocumented? Are they eligible for coverage or no?
Well, unfortunately, if the parents are undocumented, the services wouldn't benefit them. But it's an upside because their children, regardless of immigration status, will be covered, and they'll get the proper services, and they'll get the proper medical attention that they need.
That's good. And is there any cross-referencing of information? So if they're accessing this, if the children are undocumented and they're accessing this, is that information shared with?
No, our information is completely confidential. We don't share our information with any outside sources, and I know that's a big concern for immigrants, and they're concerned about their immigration status and it being a public charge. But we don't share our information. Information is strictly and completely confidential.
And that's not something that Beacon has done. That's allowable under the rules. So that's not something that Beacon has just gone ahead and decided to do. This is how the program works.
Right.
It's not. What would you say, I mean, do you have some success stories, some particularly good interaction that you had? I mean, what are some of the rewards in doing the work that you do?
Some of the rewards is just being able to help people and to being able to educate people. And I think that's something that I pride myself in. Being able to tell someone something that they didn't know, or a person who thought I wouldn't be eligible for this, or this isn't for me, to be able to tell a person it is for you, and this is how, and this is what you need to do to access it, because these resources are put in place for people to access, and some people don't know that they qualify to access these benefits. And there was actually one story that really stuck out to me. I was talking to my team members, and the project director, Marge, she was telling me about a certain instant where there was this family, and the family lost their job, and they had medical insurance through their job. And when the client lost her job, her and her husband used up their entire savings to be able to afford medical insurance and to be able to cover doctor's visits and all of the things that come within, the medical aspect. And she didn't think that she would qualify for the program, and they helped her with the application process, and they did the application, and they submitted the application, and she was approved. And she was just excited, and she was just saying how grateful she was to be informed of the program, to actually know that she qualified for it, and that it was hope for her and her family in regards to the medical aspect. Unfortunately, they had already used their savings before they knew about it. But the fact that they have it now, and it offers the peace of mind to know that you don't have to worry about accessing a savings account, or worrying about medical bills coming in the mail because you have to go to the emergency room, or stuff like that. And then there was another instance where there was a pregnant teen that one of my team members were working with, and she was concerned about being charged when it was time for her to go in and have her baby, because she didn't have medical insurance and she wasn't able to access prenatal care and everything. So they did the application, they submitted the application, and she was approved, I think, like maybe a week before she was due. And she was just so ecstatic, and she was crying, and she was just like, thank you. Like, now I don't have to worry about it. I can concentrate on what's more important, and, being a new mom, and, seeing my baby come into this world. That's what's going to be my concern. And that's what I'm going to, that's what's going to be on my mind and on my heart when I'm in that delivery room. Not, I have to worry about this medical bill when it comes, because I can't afford to even bring my baby into the world.
Yeah, no, those are two great stories, and quite powerful, because you're right. I think the first story you're describing, it's just a regular working family that's really fallen hard on their luck, and now what do? And they're able to access this. And then this next situation, you're right, it's a young mom who needs this service, and just being aware of it is it's pretty powerful. You're right, and where are her priorities, and not having to worry about that. And then if you think about the baby now being on a healthier track, because now they'll get all their immunizations and all the stuff that they're supposed to have, and now that the mom has insurance, that'll make a big difference. What would you say, we're almost going to be running out of time, what would you say, if you would give advice to someone out there on what are some of the solutions to some of the challenges you described, like not being able to access health care or the insurance? I mean, what advice would you give to folks?
The advice that I would give would be to stay informed. You may not always know of the resources that's available, but that doesn't mean that they're not there, and that they're not put in place to help you. If you need help, ask for it. That's what that's what agencies like us, and that's what we're here for. We're here to help you. And like I said, these resources are put in place for people who need them. And if you need them, then they're here for you to access.
How long does the whole process take? I meant to ask that earlier. How long does the whole process take? So once you apply, and how long before you find out whether you're eligible?
Well, I mean, I would say that it's different timeline. It's different scenarios and different circumstances for different cases. Okay. I know some people can be approved in a matter of a week, or it may possibly take longer than that. But if all of the documentation is put in place and everything is where it needs to be, and all of the information is right, and you provide the necessary documentation, then it's a smooth process, and it happens pretty quickly.
That's great. Now, you mentioned there's 2 other team members, and then there is one other peer advocate. There's an empty peer advocate position right now, right? So I suppose if anybody's interested in that position, you can always call Beacon and apply for that position. I am going to put some information on about our upcoming event. And it's our 20th annual holiday supper, which will be held Friday, November 30th of 2012, from 6 9:30 to 10:30 at Beacon's Longwood campus. Tickets are $60, and they benefit our homeless outreach services. The event benefits our homeless outreach services. If you have any would you like additional information, please contact Peggy Rourke at 773-298-6441. It's been a pleasure to have you today, Keanna. Thank you very much for joining me. I think I'm really in awe of what you've done in the past year. I think, I mentioned in the beginning of the show what you've done in the past year, but clearly you're going to keep on doing more and more amazing things. I know you spoke at the Christmas event last year, and I remember one of the honorees, Alderman Rugai, saying that someday, who knows, she'll be working for you. And I think, clearly that's what you're showing. You're going to school, you're working, you're raising your 3 children, you have a wonderful husband, you're maintaining your household, you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. So keep up the good work, and thank you again for joining me today, and hopefully you'll be on the show again.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.